Hello boys, let's do a quick tutorial each thing. I wouldn't really call it tutorial anyway. I just want to show you guys how I do the bugs. Alright, this is one way. Remember, what I'm showing you is just one way. You can find different ways. And once again, like I said, I didn't teach you anything about any function in 3ds Max. The best way actually is that if you want to do something, if you want to get hold of the functions, understand how the function works, it's simply F1, right? You can get all the explanations and so on and so forth. So let's go for the real deal here. Let's look at the size I dropped. So the bugs, they're great. They really are. I just want to show you guys. I'm downloading the 4.17 right now on my computer, and I have a very shitty internet, so it's gonna take me overnight fiber. I do have the files locally at home, but I don't have 4.17 to open it, so the only thing I can show you is the screenshot. Like, as you guys, you're on Trello, so you should be able to see the update too. So this is part of the Trello thing. Now, so far, what we have, it's been 5 days since that update. So it's quite phenomenal what we have. This is last Friday, and this is what we have today. Now, also, thanks to you guys, I have all the books. Now, those books, they're temporary, right? They serve two purposes. First, they get you to practice some moddings and see how your models are built. Oh, by the way, books and the lamp, right? The girl worked on some plans today, and she figured out that's what I want you guys to do. I gave her a task of working on plants, vegetations, and she just went full course. She did the study herself, she found the tutorials, she tried a whole bunch of things, and then she tried this. I want a bigger plant, and she was working on the bigger plant. So everything's awesome, right? Everything is awesome. So that's exactly what I want you to do. I give you a task, and you go study, you go search. And like I said, time after time, this is how your daily work is going to be at your job. Right? You have a task, you have all the descriptions, which in real life you have way more descriptions than I give you. And then you need to find a way to make things work, right? So why recording the tutorial? Well, I just want to show you guys the whole flow of things. Right? If I come across any functions that you have interest to know, or where you, of course, first of all, you want to do a research on that. If you can't find any tutorials or videos on that, you can come back and ask me. But like I said, it's everywhere on the internet. Stuff about 3ds Max. And for people who uses Maya, let's stick to 3ds Max for now. And trust me, like I said, I hate 3ds Max, but c'est la vie. So I get a 20. Let's say 20. Was it? Now this is my top. This is my front. Okay, so. Add a poly. Do 90 here and do 90 here. Over here, I want to do center object, and after that, I want to do a reset export. Convert to poly. It's over here. That's the center of the book. Alright, first thing first, like we did before, do a ring, do a connect. In this case, I do a 5, just to make everything look smoother. Take this face off, do inset. Control I, reverse the selection, do extrude. Over here, you want to do a 0, 0. If you do a local normal, where over here you can change a bunch of things, and once again the function check it itself in the F1 menu, you can do a normal, local normal, and your result will react differently. Alright, now use your views efficiently. Sometimes you want to do F3 to see the wireframe see through, sometimes you want to see the solid, sometimes you want to work on in perspective, and sometimes it's easier working top. There is no guarantee, you just have to try. Alright, press S for snapping tool. Here in snapping tool, by default is grid points, and usually you want to turn the vertex on. Translation here, you absolutely want to do enable axis constraint. Alright, so I can select this one, just select the Y, so I can snap to wherever I'm pointing at. X pointing this way, so I have a sharp and straight line over here. It's not important to keep those lines straight, but I just want to keep everything clean. Alright, and also making sure you check your other views, not just the top view. As you can see here, your book gets a little bit crooked. So what we want to do is a snap to the top. Or you can select everything and do a scaling. Just drag it down. You get a sharp line, a straight line. And here too. Okay, so over here, let's look at this book. Looks like a pretty nice book to me. Alright, now it's important, get used to this, right? It's important to get your naming convention right at the beginning. So this would be a prop for SR, and I'll say that's a small book for, yeah, it's a small book. All books should be small. I probably screw up the naming convention. So book 01G. Now for this one, I call this base geo or base mesh. Alright, turn the snapping off, just make a copy. The copy I'll put on the side. I will work on this, and just in case I screw up what I'm going to do after, I have this one as my milestone, so I can I'll get back to it. I try not to do Control Z because you don't remember how many steps you did. Okay, so yeah, let's see what Fred was trying to do. He tried to do this, which is pretty cool too. We'll do a ring, do connect. In this case, I'll do Sure, 5, why not? You can play with the function over here. Alright, so over here, I'm only working on half of the book. Now if I press T to the top here, what I can do is select 4, all faces, get rid of half, and making sure that my center is, again, at the center, and I will do a symmetry. Or I can do a modifier here and do another symmetry like this. Alright, it both works. And you just have to find the right axis for, you know, the flipping or not. Alright, so, and after you do the modifier, you're gonna convert to a poly. Yeah, this is the, you always get to convert to poly. It's kind of a bitch part. Alright, so over here we have the ring. Do a connect again. Let's try a 3. Oops, 3 I said. I press 1, get to the vertices, get like this and that. Alright, so that way I can get like this really thick book binding to, you know what I mean. Alright, so keep in mind you can always do this. You can always work on half of the object as long as your object is symmetry. Now instead of that symmetry, you can use the, make an instance. So that way, if you work on half of the image, you get the other half. Alright. Now the topology we have for the book is very clean, but it's not efficient. Just because it's really high, right? It's unnecessary. But we're keeping it that way. We're keeping it that way because this is going to be our high res. Alright, and then later on, this one is going to be our low res. So I'll do the baking. So you guys can see. Okay, what else can we do? How about this? I'll do a loop. Do a chamfer. Actually, you know what? Take this off. Do a chamfer. How about if I do a quad chamfer? No. Alright, do a standard chamfer. Sure, why not? And get this one to maybe 0.5. Okay. See that one? That way we have this roundness. Press G to take out the grid. Alright. And now let's do this. Do a center. Connect. Just one line. And convert to the vertices. Do the scaling, making sure it's a straight line. And also do the snapping. In this case, you want to snap to the grid. So right click on the snapping area, get the window pop, and you want to turn on the grid. And you just snap to the grid. And what I want to do after is have this one deleted and do another. Now I want to do a Z for instance, and then that one I want to do another Z instance. Right, so I got both top and bottom. Run it up. Okay, and I can take all of them and do a collapse. Oh my god, are you serious? Hey, what is that? I didn't want this. What's this window? it's time to do export. I don't really save, it's not really necessary to save the 3ds Max file because the versions are all different. But if you export as OBJ or FBX, that thing is universal. So once in a while you want to export the FBX. Alright, so I have the document, and I want to do, what do I want to do? I want to do Unreal project, study room, content, geometry, meshes, props. Then we have common book and what do we have? Small book. Okay, I'll name this 05. I'll name this 10. Nobody uses 10. Alright, just in case. And over here, I'll name this LD0. When you export FBX, making sure your smoothing group is up, your animation is off, and your Z is up. Animation is off only when this thing is not animated. So if it's an animatable prop, then of course you need to have the animation on. Okay, so remember one thing, if you do symmetry like this, like what I did, let's take a look at 7, which is you're seeing statistics, triangle, total and selection. You see I have 72 vertices, and that is not true. Alright, because when you do, you can even try this. I have 3, look at that. That's 2 vertices. Alright, if you do this type of, this is mirror. This is not symmetry. Right? After you do mirror and you combine them together using the hammer, you can select different parts, like we said before, and you do a collapse and collapse selected. You combine everything together, but you're only combining the objects. You're not combining the vertices. So for example, if I do component, you see that the left, right, they're all different components. Now this book over here, that's one component, right? So that means the vertices are not merged. Right? If you do an arm smooth thing, hey, it doesn't show. All right. So select those, do a weld, and over here you can see that before is 528, and after you welding it is 400. That means the closest distance. The vertices that are between 0.1 centimeter, they're merged together. So now we have this book. Let's also do that and that. By the way, I have an ingun here, just so you know. I do know, but I don't really care at the moment. I will care afterwards, but not at the moment. Alright, let's see, I have this one selected, this one goes around, this one goes round, and that one goes round. Okay, and I'll do a chamfer, and in this case it's a regular chamfer. I want to drop my distance, sharp, maybe 1.1, and get this as 2, maybe 0.2. And get this a 3. Now let's look at the result here. Now as you can see, from the shading, that it seems like this face gets bended. That's because you're having a deformable plane. Now if I do this, you still have it. This line is the system trying to simulate the how to connect triangles. So what we can do is here to here, connect this, and this is still an n-gon. So let's try to fix it that way. Take those two, make a connect, and take those two and make a connect. Alright, same thing here. Those two vertices, do a connect. Now sometimes when your object is too close, it seems like you're losing the object, and when you get too close, like this. Alright, that's because your camera is clipping through the object. So what you want to do is perspective and a viewport clipping, and you drop, you have two arrows, two triangles. If you drag this one, the upper one, it controls how far your camera can go, and the lower one, it controls how close your camera can go. So that way I can get closer to the object without clipping through the geometry. I'll do a connecting here, and I'll do another connect here, and that should be it. And also, of course, I'm lazy, so I only want to do half of it, and I did. In this case, I'll do a symmetry. Now, if you do a symmetry, your geometry will be merged. Right? If you don't do a symmetry. Alright, I have some pretty bad result here, but don't do what I did, right? But I'll just merge them together. Since it's a book, it's not that big, and also this is your it's the first time I show you guys how to do a full pipeline step, so I don't want to get, for the first time, I don't want to get too into details and confuse you for the rest of your life. Right, so now let's look at this thing. Alright, so I have this book. That's my high, and this is my low. Now, first thing first, let me clear the smoothing group. Actually, you know what? Maybe my smoothing group is 1. It's good. Maybe it's good. Yeah, sure. Let's just say it's good. Alright, so this is my high. That I'm done with it. It's small book, and it's a 10. It's a LD0, which is pretty high. It's like 1,000 triangle for a book. Alright, now this is my low. I'll put my high on the side, and I'll bring this back to the center, 0, 0, 0, and also over here, I'll export this as my small book. 10 LD1, or in this case maybe 2. Okay, so remember to change your naming. Now re-export again. And over here, that's a 0. And export over here, you want to do that. Alright, so once again, let's look at the book. We have the hardcover, and we have the pages, and we have this, you know, this cover here. Maybe a smoothing group. The same smoothing group would be nice. Let me try this. Alright, take this tool on. Cool. Re-export again. Okay, that's LD0. And this one goes to that. Now, what I want to do is now start doing the UVs. What I told you guys before is the box again, and do this, and then do that. So that's an auto, you know, auto UV thing. But in this case, we can do slightly better. Now, first thing first, when you do box, and if you want to put a checker on, you see the ratios are different. I'll show you guys in a second. Apply this, apply the textures. Over here, show me the texture, baby. I want to do a checker. Yeah, and my tiling is 2020. Now you can see the cover of the book. The checkers are square. It's it maintains the 1:1 ratio, but the top is not. That means the texture is stretched. So if I want to draw, for example, if I draw a sphere, like a circle, a full-size circle, or like a round circle, and I want this to be appearing on the top of the book, and I draw a full circle, like a real round circle on my texture, then you don't see a circle, you see an oval shape because your UV is distorted. Right. So to fix that, I select everything and then do a quick peel. That's the bottom. Right. Now, even though, yeah, it's a little bit small. Okay, and let's get this bigger. Now, as you can see, my I have squares. All right, so I'll do the same. Do a quick peel, and maybe get this large. Or if I do this, rescale, they'll get to the proper shape. All right, like that. All right, let's keep going. So, yeah, I want everything to connect. Just old habit. Now, as you notice, if I select the entire UV island, I have some blue lines. If I don't select anything, I have no blue lines. If I select this, I have those ones are blue lines. If I select that, I have other blue lines. The blue lines are the connecting lines, which means if I select this UV, which are 4 edges, those 4 blue lines will be connected. And I will do a stitchy, or a stitchy. Each time you only stitch one edge. So what you want to do is to take the whole toggle off and do something like this and that and that. Alright, now let's do a 3, select everything and do a quick peel. See, now it's pretty nice. Okay, and yeah, then how about those edges? You can either select the lines or the edges in the UV editor. You can directly select on the object. So stitch those and stitch those. Press 3 again for polygons. Take the element shape. Do another quick peel. So basically, you just do a lot of quick peel. That's all. Right. Now, this one is connected to that, and that is connected to this. Do this, do a quick peel. Or maybe not. Let me do this first. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they are connected. Oh, edges. Okay, those edges and those edges. Press 3, element on, select everything, do a quick peel. Okay, let's see what those are. Where is my selection? Oh, it's over here, so it's this thing will be connected to that thing. Okay, got it. So that stitch. Hey, why aren't you stitching? Stitch, and that, and that, and that. Stitch 3 element, the whole thing, quick peel, and now the edges on top, those ones, stitch, and the bottom ones, stitch. Once again, press 3, toggle element, quick peel. Cool. Alright, so you want to select both. Now let's go back to the, it's not using the full size of the canvas. So what we can do is F2, select those, turn toggle off, select those edges, deselect those edges, and then we'll make a cut. Break it. Now, before you break it, if the lines are connected, the line is white. Over here, after you break it, the line will be green. So green line means you're taking the metro in Montreal. No, green line means the edges are not connected. Blue line means there's a neighbor that can be connecting to this line, and white line means they are connected. So in this case, I'll break them. As you can see now, they're getting, the size gets bigger. Alright, I can also, for example, press this, toggle off, cut this edge, but weld and cut that edge, because that way I can get a better UV. Right, 3, and that's one thing. And for me, I'm control freak. I hate when the lines are not straight. So this is what I do. I select all the lines over here. That. straight, 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 straight. Now, if you're modeling, if you're not in the UV Canvas, the UVW editor, you can repeat your last function by pressing the semicolon key on the keyboard. If your keyboard input is English, it will work. But repeating function doesn't work in the UV editor. Now, if ever you run into any tutorials that the guy talks about being able to repeat functions in the editor, in the UV editor, you let me know, because that's gonna save me a lot of time. Alright, as I said before, I'm speed modeler, so every step counts. Okay. Now that's just to get rid of the stretches. Alright, cool. So let's say my UV for this one is done. Okay, now I have checked the checker. It's all square. Unified size. My UV space is quite efficient. Can be better, but you know, for the first time, it's quite efficient. So LD2 and export. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay. When you export it, you might want to reapply a material because you have a checker on it. And if you export, you also export a checker texture, which you don't want. Just generate a new texture. It's no point. So there we go. See, if you put the material on it instead of a checker, you don't get the error message. Alright, now let's do a substance painter and do a quick thing with the book. Alright, so here we have substance painter. New. It's a PBR roughness, metalness. Select my geometry, which is, that's a different project. Unreal project, study room, content, geometry, meshes, prop, and LOD2. Okay, so here we are. Have our book. First thing first, we'll do a big texture. High res. Select our LD0 and bake it. Why is my normal map not working? Alright, debugging time. So this thing, I'll export that. Export this as FBX like 0. Okay. And that's a 1. So why is my normal map not working? Oh, now it works. But why wasn't it work before? And it's not right. That's rather interesting. Oh my god, is that the front? No, that's the back. Okay, is that the front? How about if I reset Xform? It's going backward. Like, see this line here is supposed to be appearing on the other side. Interesting. Ah, it's because of you. So yeah, it's important to reset Xform. So I don't actually know why it's causing it. I don't know. I'm serious. I'm being deadly serious. I would describe myself as a firefighter. So I focus on problem solving. And usually I don't ask why. Yeah, like firefighter, you know, you have a fire and they come here, they cease the fire. And if you ask them like, how does fire start? It's like, no, it's gonna, they don't tell you this right away. Some like, you know, inspector is gonna do that. Alright, so once again, bake it. And it's black. And why is it black? Okay, let's do this one more time. Now this time we'll check the object property and turn on the backface call. Ah, there you go. It's because whenever you do the reset Xform, there's a chance, depending on what you did before, there's a chance your normal is inverted. Now in this case, the normal is inverted, therefore it doesn't do the baking. So to fix that, just simply go to the modifier and press N, get to the normal, and by default the function is flip normal, and you have this flipped. And then you have convertible poly, convert editable poly, and re-export the LD0 and bake again. Now, like I said before, it's technical. Alright, so there you go. Okay, see now if you look at the polygon, it's really low, but I do have this information over here. Now this book can work as you know, like a unique book, because we actually have a geometry over here. So now if this book is one of the few books putting right next to the chair, and then your character can be you know, sitting down and looking at from this angle, then yeah, sure, maybe you do want to have that actual geometry so you can have the pages and the cover differences in the silhouette. If this book is a shelf book, then I wouldn't model. I would do this. This is LD0. Sorry, LD2. Then I would do this. I'll do isolate selection, and I will take off all those edges. Alright, and actually, you know what? I don't even need those. Just cause. I don't need those either. Just cause. Oh, okay, what I'm doing is control backspace. Alright, I'm not removing the line. This, that, and back to connect and connect. Alright, controls you see. Do this and connect. Like I said, you can repeat the function by pressing the semicolon. No, not the semicolon. You know the two dots, but like, and I'll show you guys in the class. Jesus. All right, so oh hey, did I make a copy? Import document. Unreal Tournament, Unreal Project, study room content, geometry, material, meshes, props. That's my tool. Alright, so we have a 0, a super high. It's not the best way to make 0, by the way. I just want to do something quick. So we're missing a 1. Maybe I can call this 1 and call this 2, but whatever. Okay, let's get back to this awesome tool. Shelf. Let's look at the smart material. And let's do a oh, I don't know why I did that, but it looks awesome. It looks awesome. No, just imagine, right? Like, what if I can do like a folder here, and I do a black mask, and I go, oh, over here at my height, and my height is down, so I want to do that. So my height is, no, not. It goes down. I want this to go up. Yeah, we'll see. Alright, of course I'm just doing this by hand. So go find some tutorials, see how can you do you know, like a better I think you can do this by pressing shift, and it tells you the shift left, draw a straight line, shift, control shift left, draw a snapped straight line. Okay, but I want a big straight line. Oh. Okay, and okay, and press Control and draw on the canvas. You can rotate the brush. I didn't know that. I didn't know a lot of things, man. Alright, so you get the point, right? Like in this way, you can work on the fancy version of things. What's the okay? But in this way, in this case, I have this deleted, and I want to try some different colors. No, it's like, oh, looks good, but doesn't work. Alright, what we really want to do is some fine leather. Da-da-da. Okay, but of course the books you don't want them to be like that, right? So what we can do is a fill layer, and I actually like the texture here. It looks really cool, but I don't like the color. We want something like a fainting yellowish kind of page, and also you want to turn off the you want to drop you want to turn on the roughness, so it feels like pages. Actually, you know what? I don't like the fabric. No, it's a fill layer. Okay. I'll create a folder here and do a white mask. And over here, I'll use the polygon tool to take off the pages. I also want to change environment so I can see better. Yeah, so I can also do this, copy. I can copy mask, and over here turn this on, and paste. Paste mask. Add a black mask, and then paste into mask, and then I can invert a mask. But I got some problem in here, so what I want to do is take this off, and that, and that, and that. And if you want to get closer, press X to make to invert the color here. Alright, and there you go. Now let's take a look once again. Alright, the reason that I in the leather section I took the pages off is because as you can see, the leather carries its own sort of a bumpy texture. Now if I didn't do that, type of mask, then you see that this type of bumpy texture also apply on the pages. And if I use that fill layer directly on top of the pages, then it goes on top of the bumpiness. So that's why I want to take those off. So remove that leather bumpiness. And if I do want, for example, I can do an empty layer with nothing in it and just normal. And draw a straight line. And this is the normal layer. And I want my normal to be a straight line. Control your, get this bigger. straight line. You need to click here and Control Shift. Now start drawing a line and click again. Click the top, Control Shift to drag it down, click again. And click the top again, Control Shift, click again. Alright, and that's only for like this section here. And you can do the same for the top. Like for example, what I did is I had some bleeding on the top, which is what, like over here, right? I can do a white mask, and then I can black this area off, and also those regions off. Or I can do this again and go, I don't want you to be here, and I don't want you guys to be here. Alright, so you can do like sort of the same thing. But let's get back to the leather book because it looks awesome. What can we do to the leather? Now you can change the normal back to base color, which contains everything. So you have your normal here, and you can do a folder and call this like page normal adjustment, and you can do another folder here, call this page diffuse folder, and you have the leather folder. Okay, now over here we have this, and we have some dusts. What else can we play with this leather? Smart masks. I would first duplicate the entire folder here. Control D, that will do. And over here for the leather color, see, I can do that. Now instead of a fill, let's try Morse form. Right, and play with the parameter here. That's not what I wanted. No, I don't like this. I'll try some dirt heavy. I don't like that either. I like the whole thing. I'll redo it. Edge scratches. Damn. And the sponsor mount is over here. Why does it always appear? Oh, it's that thing, is it? Alright, so I don't need this. I don't need that. I just want this thing. I don't need a double dirt. Thank you. So it's just him. And of course it's not going to be white. At least not this type of white-ish. Okay, and let's now play with this function here. Edge damage is not good. I want to try, how about edge strong? No, don't like that. Edge damage. You can get some damage on the book, which is pretty cool. You just have to play with the cutter here. Yeah, that's cool. And we can also do, let's see what this guy can do. Global blur, turn it off. Open balance. Look at that. That's what I want. Duplicate this. The reason I want to duplicate that is because, for example, alright, over here, if I select the thing, I can add another fill. Another paint, sorry. Get another paint. So what the paint says is, okay, I want this area or I don't want this area. Alright. So I don't want that area, but I like what it did over there. Okay, now this thing, I want to do, how about dirt soft? What does that give me? No. I still want something to the edge. That's cool. You know, I got a slight bit. Cool. Maybe not the top. Maybe not the top. The top is too much. So what I can do is add a fill. No, sorry. Once again, add a paint. And I want to take off the top part because I want to bring back the true form. Okay, and now of course can I even do this? Alright. So I think this part is a little bit too much. I want this damage mostly appear on this side. What I'm thinking is maybe in my high res I'll do another geometry and I put those copper corners and then come back and rebake my normal. All I have to do is keep the same geometry and you know, do additional parts combined with my OD0, so I have those copper clips on the edges, and here I have this good damage on the side of the book. I'll make the pages dirtier, or like this actually looks okay. I can do better, but it has to be consistent to the top. Right, and then we have the copper here, and it's going to be oxygenized, so it's a little bit green or a little bit dark, and just a tiny little bit, you know, goldish on the side, and to make the book pop. Right, and it looks like my internet is really slow. 4.17 takes 3 gigs, and so far I only have 0.4 gigs. So see you guys tomorrow morning. Now, for the record, this is Friday, 10:13 p.m. I'm recording a quick demo reel. A quick video to demonstrate how to do the books. I don't think I took those out. Yeah, and those are out. And those are out too. Yeah, so there you go. I hope you find this tutorial useful. If you have any questions, find me on Facebook. Send a question on Trello, and by all means. So I'm looking forward to see your book next week. Now remember, you do one book at a time. Right? You can keep the same geometry and you can change the color. There's more things we can do. We can put, for example, we can do this. Now we have the normal page normal or just normal adjustment. I can create another one for just normal, and over here we can have, instead of line, we use a capsule, and you can change the capsule here, and you can change the shape, whether it's in or out. So for example, if I do that, which you can always come back to control your brush. If you do this, see, this is 190, and it's rotating, right? If I go 0 or 180, it's perfectly straight. So Control Shift, no, click here, Control Shift, and click again, which I want this to come out, so I don't want a pillow. I want the other thing. Where's the other thing? It's in. I want this to be out. Okay, and brush again. Is this 180? Yes, it is 180. Click here, Control Shift, straight line. Click here, Control Shift, straight line, and Control Shift, straight line. And see what I get. Of course, it looks bad, but you can always come back in. Take the white mask and do the polygon mode, and just take those off. Alright, you can take those off, and you can take those off. Alright, just saying. And if this result doesn't look very promising to you, you can always do a high-res modifying your LD0 before you do the bake. Actually, I don't think this normal looks very convincing to me, so bye-bye. I really like this book so far. That looks good. I just need to write some golden words on this and make a different color, maybe a motif, something, use a stamping. There's a lot of things I know exist. The terminologies, like I've done in other softwares, I haven't tried them in Painter yet. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of tutorials online. All right, so work on your book, get a full-size book. Right, I mean high-res, low-res like this, and do a texture, and then export the texture and so on and so forth. And then we'll try your fully textured book in in the room. And once again, we have amazing room. Now I expect amazing books to be a part of our amazing room. Alright, so have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you on Wednesday with your fully textured LD2 books. Thank you so much. Have a good night.